Jack in the building. What's up, Jack?
Hey, good morning, my friend.
I'm doing
I
really
heard
well.
you.
How you doing?
I feel blessed. I clicked the link and I thought I heard you wrapping up. I was wondering if I missed it,
Jack, I
man.
always got time to be able to kick it with you, big dog.
Blessings. Thank you. I tuned in a little bit late today. I did want to talk to you about some of the things I saw the other day.
Tell me about it. What's your thoughts?
The Andrew Tate thing.
Okay,
I
what
know
do you think
he's
about Andrew Tate?
I know he's got a lot of fans and I know he is doing some good things,
Hmm.
but I think he's a confused man.
In what way?
And he promotes the materialistic uh, lifestyle. Well, you know what? I'm speaking from a man. I haven't spent a lot of time looking into what he says, but the things he puts out is pretty chauvinistic, very
Mm.
materialistic. In my opinion, it's a false light of what we need today.
I think that is great. I love what the Tate brothers is doing. I think that
I
what it
know.
is that they teach is masculinity. I think that what the Tates understand is that the way that you get people's attention is with the stuff, right? But more importantly, I think that what they show is that the stuff is just a reflection of their lifestyle. I don't think that they necessarily advocate for it. I think that they advocate for you to be able to have the option to be able to buy and do whatever it is that you want to do because the world is our oyster. But the stuff is just a reflection of their success, right? And I think that if you really listen to them, I don't know how much you've deep dived into them. What they really teach is masculinity. They teach men have to suffer in order to become successful, in order to learn the lessons. I think that they teach, being able to really be aggressive and working really hard, and that you can buy whatever you want once you get to a certain level. Um, I think that the stuff is just a reflection of their success, right? And so I don't think that they teach the success, and I don't think that they chauvinistic either. I'm gonna be honest with you, Jack. I think that it's not chauvinistic to be masculine.
I'm not going to get into that argument with you. Here's
Tell me what your
along with
thoughts
what
are,
they
Jack. I want to know what your thoughts are.
Well, I'm coming at this with a very, very different perspective than what most of the world has.
Okay.
Okay. And I recognize even my perspective is different than yours. In I'm going to use Tate as an example though, because he's a visible man and he's already controversial. But
Mm-hmm.
the other day in the clip you shared, he was talking about how, and you just said it too, how men have to suffer. You know
Yep.
what? This is egoic nonsense.
You think so?
Partial truths create total confusion. And the words he said, I heard, I've been studying ego and spirit, and the ego is real easy to see once you understand what it is. It's the part that complains and blames. And the complaining and blaming is the victim mindset. And for me to see these men who are being followed and being, touted for their worth and success, and then they spend their time complaining and blaming, really makes me question their how masculine is it to spend your time complaining and blaming.
I don't think that they complain and blame though. I think that they just identify the issues that we are warring against in society, right? When you say when they can get arrested and be held in a jail but not charged, that's a problem, right? When you can get convicted as a man in a court of public opinion before you actually be before you're able to defend yourself, that's a problem. When we see a lot of these guys get me too'd and then they get released from prison 2 and 3 years from now, it was a case, Travis Rudolph, right? Recently just happened with a former NFL player in which the woman basically got her brothers killed because she asked her brothers to go and basically kill him because she was pissed at him, but she was really married, right? And guess what happened? People lost their lives. He had to spend an egregious amount of money on a trial only to be proven not guilty, and nothing happens to her at all, right? We live in an age and a society where men are under assault and under attack. And because Andrew Tate and the Tate brothers are some of the most popular people in the world, I think that they're being used as an example of how it is that we need to take men down instead of embrace and exalt what masculinity is. So I think it's very manly to call out the BS when you see it, especially when it comes from a higher power that thinks that they can control us. Because the worst thing that we can do is be quiet at this point. And so I actually support what it is that they're doing and where they stand, because I think it's very manly and masculine to call out people instead of remaining docile and let whatever happens to you from the powers that be. It's easy to shut up and say, well, I don't want to be persecuted. But it's much more difficult to say, no, y'all need to stand up and address this for what it really is and call out the BS.
Respect. I honor and respect what you said there. Here's my biggest complaint, and take it for what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Many people who have risen to success, and I'll include you in this too, Anton.
That's fair.
Many people who have risen to success have decided, well, we can't change it, so it's best just to learn how to thrive within it. And when I say it, what I mean is this unjust system that profits from poverty. We've got an immoral economic and government system. And as I was coming up, you were,
You think so?
oh, brother,
I think that
yes.
capitalism is phenomenal.
Can we have a conversation specifically on that topic?
Yeah, let's talk
Because,
about it. Let's talk about it.
yeah, history. I used to
I
be a
didn't. It's not
capitalist,
perfect, but I
not
think it's phenomenal.
successful. It served its purpose. But in its purpose, what it has done is it has divided humanity as a whole. It has enforced and instilled this competitive lifestyle, and through the structures of government and corporations, secrets and lies have become profitable. Now, if we're going to serve the God of truth, why are we allowing our corporations and our governments to keep secrets from us?
But
I
what are
mean, in
governments and
relation,
what are corporations?
they
Governments
are
here. Let me
fictional.
answer that. Let me answer that for you. Governments and corporations are made up of people. The governments that we embrace and that is a reflection. They really just a reflection of the people that put them there, right? When you
Correct.
think about corporations, they're all ran by people. All of these things are just a reflection of the people that they serve, right? And so when you start to change the narrative because money is power, right? Voting is power. A collection of people can be powerful. And when you start to think about that in the lens of capitalism and how it is that we even run what it is that's happening here in America, unfortunately and fortunately, if you really look at America, as flawed as we are the most democratic and free people that are on the face of this planet. When you compare us
That's
to every other country, every other nation, when you're talking about um, dictatorships and all of that other type of stuff, if you see the flaws within our government, you're really seeing the flaws within the people that voted for them.
correct. This is where I'm at. I encourage everyone. This for myself. I transform my life when I stop allowing myself excuses and blame. Okay, and that young man who was here right before me got that
Mm-hmm.
haircut.
Yep.
Man, I was thinking about that. Sometimes in our life, that's all it takes. One action, one step towards self improvement.
Mm-hmm.
And man, that can get the whole train rolling. So I missed his
But
name,
he
but
did that. He did that though. Also, he did that though. Also, understanding that he lives in a capitalistic society, and who you are, and how you present yourself, and how you represent yourself is largely going to be the determining factor for whether or not you are more successful or you are less successful. It's just a
yes,
fact. It's a
fair
fact,
enough.
Jack.
So, okay, but I'm not gonna dismiss or make arguments against the benefits of what this capitalism has done. But you just made the statement that what America has built is one of the people are probably the freest in the world. But let's step back. What
Mm-hmm.
the hell are we comparing this to?
Mm-hmm.
We are comparing this to seriously oppressive nations, and this is what, the year 2023.
Mhm.
Why has the free world not stood up and united in its power on behalf of the other oppressed citizens in the world? Why are we not standing up for equality, not only within our nation, but around the world? Because we don't have it. We're lying to ourselves. We are free range in America. We are not free. It's an illusion.
I think that we are.
What would convince you?
Well,
When we have to register, we have to license, we have to obey,
that's
when we
just
have to
structure.
pay to live and learn, we
Yeah,
are
that's
not
structure.
free.
That is absolutely freedom. That's structure. Listen, without structure, you have absolute chaos. What you're describing is the purge. What you're describing is the purge. When you have a system or when you exist in a society where it's absolutely a free for all, what you'll start to find is that, because listen, Jack, here's the thing. Here's the thing. If you look at, give me one country, nation, environment that's a better alternative, that's already an example of what it is than what it is that we're doing here in America. Give me one.
The one that's waiting for us to create. It's
No, no, no,
here
no, no,
right
Jack. You
now.
got to give
Hey,
me an
Anton,
example.
Anton, you're
Historically,
right.
historically,
History,
or currently.
capitalism has corrupted every
Give me
example.
no,
You're
no, no,
right.
no, no, Jack. No, Jack. Give me one example of an alternative, and I may explain to you why capitalism worked. But give me one alternative.
I think I've got a weak connection. I missed the last part of what you
Give me
said.
one
I'm sorry.
alternative. Give me one country, nation, or society that actually operates in a way in which you think that actually makes more sense than what it is that than what we exist in inside of America.
What I'm suggesting has not been implemented on large scales before. What I'm here, Anton, let you brought in the argument that the rules and stuff are required for order. Let me
Absolutely.
ask you this. Why are children taught to obey and not abide? Why are children taught to remember and not think, right? Our school systems were created for the industrial age to condition the citizens to be good workers in the factories. It served its purpose. Okay, then propaganda comes out, and citizens are encouraged to pay for wars, and we've been paying for wars nonstop for how many generations? And how many generations are we going to allow this imagined fictional debt to stack up for our children? I mean, we're passing down generational debt, we're passing down generational trauma, because while all these children are separated from their families at the border, while we've got hundreds of millions of humans in migratory status
Mm-hmm.
today,
Mm-hmm.
those children are being raised that shit they're going to have to overcome as they get older. But our mental health professionals, they don't know what they're doing.
Should we open up our borders, Jack? Should we have borders?
Eventually, I believe we can rise above all of this
All of what?
when
All of what?
the
No, no, no. You didn't. You
nonsense.
didn't answer the question, Jack. And then
I
you can
will.
add the context.
the
Okay, go ahead.
I'm add, I'm adding my opinion. The nonsense of borders and the separations of wealth and authority, I think those all disappear when we collectively unite and we say, no more. No more
Okay.
corruption in our governments.
Okay. So, Jack, let me ask you a question. Do you think that we should have property lines on the homes that we own?
Now you're getting into the details. The
No,
way I
no, no,
see
no,
it,
no. Hold on, Jack. Hold on.
hey,
Should we have should anybody be able to walk on your property or come into your house?
well, collectively, we will find better ways of working together. Currently,
Jack, you're not answering the question.
well, here's why. Where I'm living is today. I'm just suggesting that the world has better options available. It's waiting for us to choose. I've been studying alternatives. I actually, I've learned of other people, Other people have come up with these ideas for a resource-based
Mm-hmm.
economy for to use technology and mechanization. We could eliminate most of the job requirements of people. We could reallocate our human energy and resources into creating jobs that actually do good things, cleaning up our rivers, cleaning up our oceans. We've got a lot of repairs and cleanup to do here in Mother Earth that we could be doing if we weren't so focused on increasing some accounting number in some bank account.
Do you know how we get to a point to where we incentivize people to create jobs around cleaning up our oceans and rivers?
Yes.
How?
Proper education.
Nope.
Everything comes together, brother. It really does.
Nope. You know how we do it? Do you even know why we would even be in a position to incentivize people to then clean up our oceans and our rivers? And and actually, Jack, to be honest with you, unfortunately, this is the thing that torpedoes your very argument in the first place. Is because one of the reasons why our rivers and our oceans are so messed up is because we've given people the freedom to do whatever it is that they want to do when they want to do it. That freedom,
Under
that freedom then allows for people to operate outside of the guidelines of what you were. It's the reason why you got clean water, Jack.
Oh no! Why you
Jack,
think
Jack,
you
Jack.
have
Listen,
clean
listen,
water?
listen. The fact, the to be able to maintain a planet with almost 10 billion people on it requires infrastructure. It requires guidelines. It requires rules. It requires discipline. It requires so many of the different fundamental things that this whole country is built on in the first place. If you don't incentivize people, aka capitalism, right? If you don't install, listen, complete anarchy is allowing anybody to do whatever it is that they don't want to do. You know why rules came forth in the first place? Rules weren't established just because people felt like it. Rules were then established, infrastructure was built, guidelines were prepared because people couldn't control themselves from doing a thing that was worst for us. And so if you just open it up for people to do whatever it is that they want to do when they want to do it, hold on one second, Jack. Give me a second. Anton. I'm sorry, who is this? It's John Summer, 365. What's up? Hey, what's going on, John? How you doing, John? Good, buddy. What's going on? I'm gonna go and check out those 3 properties today, actually. Okay, because she just called me. She wanted to see a status update. She said if somebody buys them all 3, I can get them a good deal. Because I told her that. What kind of? She said if somebody buys all 3 properties, she'll give me a good deal. Yeah. Tell her to give me her best offer. Why don't you give me your best offer and then we can go from there. What do you think? For all 3? Well, let me go check them out today and then I'll make her an offer. Okay, let me know. All right. She's doing some. She's selling a house. She's moving in with her fiance. So she said, I need some money. So let me know. So she needed an infusion of cash. Yeah. I mean, they're listed. They're 60,000. She owes you 2. Well, I mean, not owes you, but credit you 2. She does owe me 2. She owed me 2. She owed me 2. So that's 58. So you make any determination, whatever price you want to give her. All right. I'm going to go check them out today, and then I'll make her an offer. Let me know. Did you start the building on your house or not yet? Yeah, we building it now. We got the surveyors out there. We got construction going on right now. So who's your framer? I got a contractor. I got an architect and a contractor. I can give you his number. What are they charging per square foot? Are they decent? Yeah, they're really great. We'll talk. I'm gonna call you in maybe like an hour. Yeah, okay. Let me know because I'm trying to build my house, so maybe I can use your guys. Yeah, you can. They'll be awesome. Okay. All right, my friend. All right, perfect. All right, bye. Thanks. That's capitalism, Jack.
Hey, respect.
That is literally capitalism. It's
Amen.
A woman. She needs money. She made me an offer. I haven't went out and checked out the 3 properties that she's offering me. It's actually all land. She owns all land. So, she's desperate for money because she's moving in with her fiance. She just went through a divorce. That's capitalism,
Congratulations,
Jack. So
brother.
we're giving
And
our system allows for her to operate and be able to do these things. And so I'm the one that then gets to make the deal as a result of it.
amen. Hey, brother, I want to congratulate you. It sounds like business is happening. You know, good deals are being made and solutions are being found. And that's where capitalism comes in theory, is a fair exchange of solution and value, and people get rewarded. Supposedly, that's the way it works. Now, the aspect, though, Anton, I love you, brother, but the aspect you're not thinking of is God. What does God want us to do? Does God want us to be, paying
Capitalists?
for
Absolutely.
wars? You think God would support
I know so.
capitalism when Jesus warned us of the money changers? Our founding fathers
Nope.
warned us of the money
You got the
changers.
wrong context. If you look at all of
No,
the greatest people in the Bible, Jack, the greatest people are in the Bible, most of them overwhelmingly were successful and rich.
I've
All of
heard
the
you make that.
most of the
Yeah.
lessons that are taught inside of the scripture are business lessons. When you talk about the talents, when you're talking about Job, when you're talking about David, when you're talking about even Jesus himself, right? It wasn't that he was mad at people becoming successful. The problem was
No,
that they were using the people in the wrong way and not providing value, and they were money changers, and it was using the church in order to make money instead of to add value to the people. There's a time and a place for everything, right? Where do you why do you think that they even advocated for tithes?
the universal laws of exchange. God, in the laws of exchange, we are to put out in support of the good. We're supposed to take what we receive, and 10% is a minimum, man. We should be, we could, rather than create a selfish mindset, we could have a generous mindset throughout humanity. And I know what it sounds like, and I don't care what people think. I know that this is the solution. We could have an economic system changing the method of distribution, because that's all an
Jack,
economy is.
why were some of God's most heralded people in the Bible super rich?
That's the way God revealed the story, but the story revealed us to today. And I'm
No,
saying better
Jack. The
options are
word is the
available.
living word. It's called a
Yes,
living word for a reason.
the truth lives.
Why
Me,
were people rich that were some of the most celebrated by God in the Bible?
I don't really question why God does. Well,
Why
I mean,
not? He
it was
said in
as an
everything that we do, we
example.
got to
It
get
was as
understanding.
examples,
In
Anton. Just
everything
what
that
you're.
we do, we have to get it. We have to get understanding. Why were they rich? Why were some of the most heralded people, God's most loved people, why were they super rich?
They were tested. They were given the opportunity of abundance so that they could be seen. What will they do with what they've got in our life? I think that's what happens when we end and we go meet the Maker. We're judged based on what did we do with what we were given,
Correct.
and we've been given the world.
Correct. You are absolutely right. So that means what you do with what you're given then allows for you to be a capitalist. It doesn't mean that you got to be a dickhead. It just means that you need to be able to add value and you still rewarded accordingly. Why should I not be rewarded according to what it is that I sow into other people?
I never said that. You can be
If I provide a
rewarded.
service, Jack, why shouldn't I be compensated for it accordingly?
You should be. Because anyone who receives a value from you should be willing to offer value in exchange.
So you are in support of
So,
capitalism.
no. Capitalism requires on money. Money is a tool for slavery.
It's not.
Want to
All
bet?
money was created for, Jack, is for us to be able to exchange goods and services without killing each other. It's an easier way for us to be able to operate as a society and humans.
Anton, yes. Logic brought humanity to use money. It brought humanity to create governments and corporations. Love, love is what's needed in the world. I understand logic very well, but I also know for a fact we do not need money in order to exchange resources with each other. We do not need enforcement in
Yes, we
order
do.
to abide by one another.
Oh, yes, we do, Jack.
What? You don't know
Jack,
how to abide
it,
by the wishes of another? See, this is
but
the
Jack,
egoic
but the problem, Jack, is
problem.
what about when somebody says that I want to be a serial killer while all of you guys is abiding by the laws of each other? How do you then hold that guy accountable if you don't have any guidelines for how it is that you can punish him?
The way I see it is serial killers and the such of today, corruption exists because it's enabled. People keep secrets. If we had communities and families together, there wouldn't be such isolation and there wouldn't be so many
Jack,
secrets
we're
being held.
born into sin. We're not
We
born
don't have to
angels.
stay there. We don't have to stay there.
But
This is
Jack,
what
but
I'm
Jack, but Jack,
teaching.
but Jack, if me and you are loving on each other, I'll give you a perfect example. Me and you, we overwhelmingly, a lot of people don't realize it that you and I often at times we agree more often than not, right? But we have some fundamental disagreements when it comes to how it is that we look at society. However, you and I have never ever cussed each other out. We've never had a problem. We've never called each other out of our names or anything like that. I largely, from the day that I met you, have always looked at you as a nice guy. You cool. We can have a conversation. And at the end of the conversation, we still love each other and we jump on each other's panels, right? However, there are some people, both in my life that jump on my panels and in your life that jump on your panels and will call you and will say some of the most egregious things in life. But you know how you deal with them, Jack? You remove them. You punish them, you mute them, you take them down. You know why? Because you have a guideline. You have structure, you have rules, you have things in which they have to abide by in order for them to be able to get on your panel. And it's the same way in regular life. It's just, the internet is just a reflection of how it is that we are in real life. And without those rules and without those guidelines, you know what would happen on your panels? Complete anarchy. They would take over and they would ruin everything that you built. But because you have that structure, because you have those guidelines, and because you have those rules, they know that they can only get away with a certain amount. And even when you bring them up, you say, listen, I've heard you. You said, listen, I don't have time for the foolishness today. If you're going to come up here, either you're going to add value, and the minute that they say something out of line, you remove them, Jack. I seen you. How is it any different from what it is that we supposed to operate in society? You have expectations. You say we
Yeah.
supposed to love each other. Me and you love each other, but there's people that don't see it the way that we love, right? We can have a disagreement and we can still love on each other. We can still love what it is that we do, but everybody don't operate like us, Jack. How do you control them? How do you control them?
With love. At this point, that is my method is with love. Okay.
Is
Um,
that what love that you deal with, how you deal with them when it is when they jump on your panel out of control, Jack?
Dude, Anton, this is insanity. You said it right. There is a place for order, and I am a man of order. Believe me, I am a man of rules and order. Okay. I know its purpose. We are living through bizarre times, my friend, and my life story. God is the author of the Bible, of the stories, man, and that story of creation is continuing. The same story that was in the Bible is today. And man, the our creator has a sense of humor, brother. I'm confident about that, but this is a time of shifting. The craziness is raising up, as are the leaders of the light, right? Those who are bringing encouragement and inspiration and value to the world. I include you in that. I know I'm going to be a part of this. So far, I'm an undiscovered part
Mm-hmm.
of this story, but
And make sure that y'all, let me say this too. Make sure that y'all go and subscribe to Jack's channel. Jack Talcott is his name. A really good person, a really good friend of mine. And I love what it is that he does. And he's a very, very, very nice guy. Make sure that y'all tap in with Jack and rock out with him. Go ahead, Jack. I just wanted to make sure that I remembered that. I forget some things sometimes.
hey, much respect and thank you for that. I appreciate that. My goals, they sound like a child, right? I know how naive some of this does sound, but I'm convinced that ending secrets is the only solution for humanity. We have to have disclosure from our governments, and our corporations have got to start finding some honor. The men and women use the corporate structure, the laws and the rules, saying we can get away with this, we can get away with that. The legal system of our land, it's immoral and corrupted, brother. It
I don't
defies
think so,
God's
Jack.
laws. I can present the case as soon as the opportunity is allowed, but
Okay. I'm looking forward
um,
to it.
I hope to present the case to the citizens of the United States government.
Hopefully
I'd
you
like
can.
that.
I will be watching and reacting.
I'll come back for for the commentary and see what you have to say.
I'm gonna react to it too.
Hey, you know what? The way I see it, Anton, I know how crazy this is, but I was inspired with this idea a few years ago.
uh,
When Donald Trump was president, I was fed up, and I
you didn't
said,
like
"This is
you didn't like him as our president, Jack?
oh, I haven't liked any of our presidents, man. Not they're all
You
corrupt.
don't
They're
think
all
that Donald Trump was our best president ever? One of our best presidents ever?
God used him very well as a tool to reveal many things, but the humanity and the people of the land have not learned the lessons I believe God wanted us to learn from that yet.
What did he want us
But
to learn, Jack?
that he's insane.
You
Dude,
think that
we are
you think that
insane.
Donald Trump is insane?
Are you kidding me? Yes. He is
I
a
don't think that
he,
he's insane, Jack.
okay. Here's my definition of insanity. The egoic patterns of delusion. Narcissists and liars are insane. It's simple as that, because liars start believing in their lies, and when you believe in things that are not true, you fill yourself with delusions. So there's plenty of evidence that Donald Trump is a constant liar. He's constantly contradicting himself. Joe Biden is no different. So what you said earlier too, the government represents what we've allowed. We get exactly the government we deserve, and we create.
What do
And
you think
right
that
now,
Donald Trump has lied about, Jack?
he's a successful capitalist, so he has lied about many, many, many things.
No, Jack. You got to be a little bit
That is
more.
true.
You got to
I
be a
know that.
lot more direct than that, Jack.
Oh, come on. His business dealings, his fake colleges,
It wasn't
his
a fake college.
uh,
It wasn't a fake college, Jack.
it was claiming to offer value.
It did
Well,
offer
you know what?
value.
There was people who probably did receive value. Let me not be
So then
dismissive.
I don't understand what the problem is, Jack.
Hey, if you can't see the lies in that man, um, okay.
I think that he's been incredible as a president. I think that he was one of the best
Do you
presidents in
really?
absolutely. He was one of the best presidents in recent history.
Oh, now I do understand more about you. There's
Absolutely. I think that Donald
well,
Trump is
Anton,
an excellent president, Jack. You don't think
here's
so?
for those who believe that, what I've come to notice is there's a pattern. There is a pattern of it's a personality, and you've already demonstrated the other patterns that punishment and enforcement. Um, those are probably how you've learned. I don't know. I don't want to make that assumption. It has to do with that. The egos like egos. Okay? Simple as that. And the way I describe the ego within us, it's the memories of what we are. It's the part of the world that is us.
Jack,
But the
what didn't
part
you
of
like about Trump's presidency? What did he do wrong in his presidency?
he's an immoral man, dude.
Jack. What did he do? What did he do wrong with his presidency, Jack?
What was the project Warp Speed? That was one thing.
What do you mean?
The governmental response to the report of infections going around the world.
Are you talking
The
about during the
government,
pandemic?
yes,
What do you mean? It was really the states. The states were the ones that determined what happened within their own environments.
He
During the
promoted
pandemic, what we seen during the pandemic was states had more power than we realized that they did.
Well, what I didn't like is I saw him promoting the pharmaceutical agenda rather than rather than the truth.
So, Jack, you don't really
And
have any kind of policy or problems of what it is that he did during his presidency.
if someone thinks he did no wrong, then there's nothing I can
What did he do wrong,
convince.
Jack?
You can't answer that?
I don't think that I can't think of anything that he did wrong during his presidency.
Well, okay, brother, then here, with all due respect, what the ego does, the ego likes to
No,
deny. It
Jack, you
picks
got
and
to give me
chooses. We
facts.
live
You got
in
to give me facts,
duality.
Jack. You got to give me facts. You can't just you talking in theory, Jack. You got to actually give me something that we
I'm
can stand
talking
on
in
and say,
theory. I'm talking in theory that you can't, you think I can't, holy shit. So you don't accept warp speed as something bad. How about, I don't remember the specificities, but I know that there was engagements in conflicts where diplomacy could have been used.
there were no new wars
Um,
during Trump's presidency.
oh, that is a flat out lie. There was
There
no,
were zero
maybe
new
there was no
wars.
more
As a
public
matter of
wars.
fact,
There was abs.
he drew down more. He drew down troops. There were no new wars under Trump's presidency. That's a fact,
Oh
Jack.
my heavens! Oh no,
Jack,
you.
what new war did we
Hey,
start during Trump's presidency?
how about the war on the citizens that was really amped up?
What are
That
you
one's a
talking about,
pretty
Jack?
important war to me.
Jack, there
The
were
war
no new
against
wars
war
during Trump's
against
presidency.
workers, the way he manipulated the judicial appointments, he stacked all the judges across the nation. He weakened for generations workers in this nation who are trying to get equality and exercise some sort of rights and fairness in the workplace. For generations now, the way the judicial systems have been stacked, people are going to get fucked.
What
Excuse
are you
my
talking about?
language.
Wait. I thought we was talking about okay, so it was no new wars. So you're saying that worker compensation and the ability for workers to mobilize and maybe even unionize was was a problem during his presidency? Is that what you're saying? I'm
And
curious. I'm trying.
you're
So
killing
Jack, I am
me.
a C student. You got to explain it to me like a child. So
You know, Anton, this might be easier if I was able to bring up any news clip and we could show
no,
you what I'm
Jack,
talking
Jack,
about.
Jack. You got to just
You
tell
know,
me.
from any
Listen,
news report, just
what
let
what
him talk.
what
Let
new
him talk,
war?
and I can show you what he's lying about.
What new war did Trump start when he was in office, Jack?
Dude, he was very manipulative and deceptive. And if you can't, how do you
In what
trust
way?
someone like that?
In what
That
way?
makes me question you, Anton.
In what way was he manipulative and deceptive when it come to wars, Jack?
I don't know. Maybe he wasn't. Here's the
I
deal.
agree with you. I agree with you on that. He wasn't.
No, I know for a fact he was manipulative and deceptive because the man is a habitual liar.
Jack, you're
There's
letting how you feel about him personally affect what we talking about in this
no,
conversation.
Anton, no, this is the point. I have no feelings towards the man. I just think he failed. He could have
Oh,
done a better
Jack.
job.
How did he
Joe
fail? He
Biden
was the
is
best president that
currently
we've had.
failing. Let's talk about the problems that are going on today. Right now, Trump is just, he's who knows what he's going to do. That
Jack,
I'd like to talk to him because if he
he's
understood,
been the most transparent,
no,
especially
he's
with
not.
regard to the
Oh my
systems that we
God.
live in. He's he's he absolutely ushered us in through an era in which there were no new wars at all, zero. As a matter of fact,
Wait,
he drew down troops and he got people sent home. Jack, I'm trying to understand. Jack, you
brother,
letting how
please
you
do
feel
not
about him
believe.
personally affect your argument. You got to tell me what it is that what new wars that he
Anton,
started.
hey, Anton, here's
Mm-hmm.
what I know.
Mm-hmm.
In the story of my life, I made this observation a long time ago. I told you, Anton,
Okay.
in 2018, I set the goal to try and talk to Donald Trump when he was still president. Because what I saw in my life, after the goals I've set and the life I've lived, the similarities are there. God, who I am today, I am an antithesis of the stories of Jesus
Mm-hmm.
and Donald Trump.
Okay.
Okay. Donald Trump he doesn't represent a Christian in my mind. He
You don't think
claims
so?
to follow Christ. He claims to follow Christ, but he is an example of an anti-Christ who
Oh
promotes wars
no.
and
Oh no.
oppression.
No.
And
No. No. No.
are you
Jack.
kidding me?
Absolutely not, Jack.
Which part do you disagree with, or which part
He
triggers you?
absolutely stands on Christian principles. He advocates
Um,
on the behalf. Listen, the whole idea that he's against this war and agenda of how it is that we indoctrinate our children with regard to what it is that's taught and advocated for with this whole LGBT and alphabet community and stuff like that, right? His support for how it is that we need to separate business and church, and that what it means to be a man and all of the very fundamental things that we stand on as a society is very Christian like. Our laws and the rules by which we were established in government and governed by is largely based off of the church. It's
yes,
largely
but the
based off of the
church,
church. And so he's going back to that. He's saying, let's get back to the thing that made us great before, by going back to traditional values. The standards by which he set in that area has made him infamous more than it's made him famous, and that's why people have such a problem with him.
Anton, there was a version of Christianity in America that allowed black people to be slaves. You know that,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
That version of Christianity is what Donald
He,
Trump
no,
represents.
Jack, you pushing it now.
Bullshit. Hey, he represents the slave
No,
owner
Jack,
interpretation of Christianity, the one that
Jack,
profits from
Jack,
hate.
Jack,
Anton, what
Jack.
words are wrong there?
When did he
You
ever
know
say
it.
that, Jack? When did he say that, Jack?
Why do I say that?
No, when did he ever say that? When did he ever say that he supported slavery?
He supports capitalism. Capitalism is a form of slavery
It's
under this
not.
current
It's not.
example.
It's absolutely not. Everything
It's
that you do,
economic slavery.
everything.
It's
No,
slave
it's not.
slavery.
Everything that you do is voluntary, Jack.
Anton, how voluntary is it when you have been miseducated
Hmm.
and you have no real alternatives?
What do you mean?
There's not voluntary.
What would you
It's
like to do that you're not able to do today, Jack? Let's talk about this slavery thing, this economic slavery.
here's well, if you want to bring it, damn it, you're trying to interrogate and trying to argue
No, I'm
rather
trying to
than
get you to substantiate your
um,
argument.
I'm a free man because I am a child of God. There is nothing that I'm not able to do. I mean, this
So you saying that
illusion.
giving your life over to Christ has enabled you to absolve yourself of the same things that everybody else is subjected to when it comes to this country and
No,
this society.
no, I still abide by the same impositions that others do,
So what
but
makes you any more free? Why are you not a slave and everybody else is a slave to
I've
this
freed my
economic
mind.
system?
God has graced me and allowed me the understandings to step away, to surrender from my ego, and to
Has nothing to
follow
do
the
with economic
Spirit.
slavery, Jack.
Well,
Jack, how much did you pay for that leather chair that you're sitting on right now?
oh, I don't remember, a couple
What
hundred
about that
bucks.
chain you got on?
I don't know.
What about the haircut?
Yes, Anton, Anton,
I'm just curious because you are a part
not
of this capitalistic
crazy.
system.
Anton, I
Jack,
live today. Yes,
why are you wearing
Anton,
that
there's,
chain that represents economic
oh my,
slavery in every single way? A
oh
chain
my
is a
heaven.
representation of slavery. You have one across your neck,
Yeah,
and I'm sure that you paid for it and you didn't steal it. You didn't make it yourself. So you actually
right.
exchanged that same amount of money in order to
Yep.
get that chain, Jack. What are you doing with it? Why are you buying chains, Jack?
I've lived a life. I still
You
carry
still
money
wear
in
it.
my wallet.
Why
I
didn't you give
still
it
got
away, Jack, to somebody that you loved?
And because nobody I love comes into my life. This is the weird part. You know what? My life is weird, man.
Jack, give it
So
to me. I love you. Let me capitalize off of that chain. Just give it to me for free, Jack.
why?
What do you mean? Why? So that you can rid yourself of this chain and this bond that is upon you from this capitalistic society, and that you can start to operate in love because you're a
Anton,
child of God. I am a child of
Anton,
capitalism. You're a child of God,
dude,
right?
dude, you're creating these false arguments, the straw man arguments that are really just it's
What?
unhealthy. Hey, the slave system, every dollar we have today was originated as a debt. It was sold, okay? Sold for profit. So every dollar was imagined and then came into being through the form of debt. And now we have an economic system where selfishness is okay. You ever watch that show on TLC about the hoarders,
I
right?
teach selfishness, Jack.
I know. That's what I want to talk to you
It's so
about.
beautiful.
Well, there's partial truths create total confusion. And I'd
No,
like
that's
to
not
help
true.
open your
It's
mind
not
to the
true,
other
Jack.
side, to
You
the
have to be
more
selfish in order to be selfless, Jack. You can't pour out
that's
of an empty cup. How
turn
can
to
you help
God to
somebody if
fill it.
nobody can't help themselves?
Turn to God to fill the cup, not to
Nope.
the world.
That's the
The
lesson that God gave
world
us. God, you don't listen. The word is a living word. You have everything you need in order to be successful. The word is the blueprint. You cannot. That's why it says get the beam out of your own. How can somebody guide me when they got a beam in their eye and they can't see, Jack? The first thing that somebody has to do is they have to be selfish before they can be selfless. And that allows for them to grow, go through the lessons, become the person that they're supposed to be, and then they can pour into somebody else. But when you see two people that are under duress trying to help each other, all it creates is more chaos, confusion, and more people that need to be fed and needy mouths. That's it. That's all it creates. I'm in a position of power because I was selfish before I was selfless. Now I can pour into other people. I spent more time building myself up, studying, becoming great, reading the Bible cover to cover 7 times without any kind of problems or trouble. I first fortified who it was that I am, and then only then am I able to pour into other people. Right? Even Jesus
I
himself did
brother, I
not even go out and
admire
start
and
preaching.
honor the path you
Jesus
took.
himself didn't even start going out and preaching the word until he was in his 30s. How come he didn't do it as soon as he was born? How come he didn't show us the miracles when he was? How come he is a reflection of the thing that we are supposed to become? He is the blueprint, right? And so if he is the blueprint, how come he didn't just go out there and love? How come he sat there and studied? How come he was a carpenter? How come he was a part of this capitalistic system that we're now railing against? Why was Jesus a part of the capitalistic system?
Hey, Anton, I used to ask those questions, and then I started asking myself, what does God want me to do?
Nope, nope, nope. You can't go to God without going through Jesus first.
I have. That's what I
No,
said. I started
but in
with
order to
those.
go through Jesus, you first have to understand him.
Anton, I started. Actually, my path brought me, the Bible was actually the last place I went to in order to
You
better
can
understand
you're
God.
not even supposed to be talking to God. You're supposed to be talking to Jesus.
Whoa, well, okay. Jesus is a name, and the name came from a book, and the book actually has many different interpretations and many different writings.
We
So, was
understand all of the
Jesus
different versions and the King James version and all of that, but you know the
okay?
the, the premise from what I'm saying, you understand what I'm saying, Jack.
Right. So I want to bring that back. So you recognize there's some fluidity in the name and in the information. So recognize Jesus as the archetype, as the symbol, not as the
It's
man,
not a
not as the
symbol. That's why
being.
it's called a living word.
It all words are symbols, my brother.
I understand what you're
Love
saying,
is
Jack, but
beyond words.
Jack, the point that I'm making is that why are you not living your life using Jesus as the example, but you're trying to jump over that and circumvent that whole conversation in order to justify how it is that you live your life? Why was Jesus a carpenter? Why was he a part of this capitalistic society and this environment that we now have grown to be much bigger than what it is? It's not
Was
perfect.
he a
It's not a perfect system. By all means, there are things that we need to change about it, and there's some things that's absolutely egregious about it. But it's much better than the alternative, and that's why I asked you, what is the alternative, Jack? What example can we use in society? What nation has perfected a better system, right? That's not a socialist system. That's not a handout. What other country has perfected this system that allows for us to thrive and be much better citizens, be much more God-like, be much more Christian-like? What system is better than the system that we currently have installed here in America?
Anton, I'm getting sad, to be honest.
Don't get sad,
Okay.
Jack. Tell me.
This
I'm looking for
what I'm
information.
hearing, what I'm sitting here, I'm personally feeling a little frustrated, and it's not with you, it's just the patterns. People are so resistant because everyone wants to make excuses not to change. Anton, there is no in history that I know of. I know there's been small success, temporarily successful attempts at communal living and stuff like that. There has been small attempts, but we've lived in history shows those who control the money, those who print the money, the bankers they have been responsible for funding both sides of many wars. We're just in a war generating pattern.
Jack, do you
And,
know that it's almost a
and
sin not to leave an inheritance to your children?
Anton, right now, are you familiar what is going on with the brick?
I am.
The
BRICS, BRICS.
okay, yes. So
With
right now
Russia and China. Yep. I'm very much familiar with Jack. You know I'm the money guy. I'm familiar with all of this stuff.
okay, so this is why I don't understand. I mean, it's like I don't know a better word, but it's like you're in denial about what you know.
What do you mean I'm in
You
denial?
know
I teach it every day.
that you are in denial?
No, I teach the insight and information that comes along with being capitalistic every day. I'm also
Okay, so
familiar with
you
currency manipulation. I'm familiar with cryptocurrency. I'm familiar with stable coins. I'm familiar with BRICS. I'm familiar with what's going over in Russia and China, Ukraine, everything. I'm familiar with how it see my thing. The Millionaire Morning Show is understanding society and how it all comes back down to the money. That's why it's called the Millionaire Morning Show, Jack.
And how did God bring me to here? Holy cows, man. How
Ain't that
perfect.
beautiful? Ain't it awesome how things work out?
Well, Anton, it's true. Money is that's a part of my experience. I have not lived a life of abundance, but I also didn't know what I know now. So
Mm.
um I see a life of I see a beautiful future coming. I know we live in a capitalist world. That's why I made investments in the trademark of live without fear, the domain. I was
Wait a
believing that I
minute,
did
Jack.
something
You
there.
made investments. You made investments in this capitalistic society. You a part of the system,
Yes. I live
Jack.
and
Jack. 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 Jack.
hey, Anton, here's something I believe God uses the darkness in order for the light to be strengthened,
Jack.
right?
Jack. Jack.
And I have learned from the evil teachings. I've learned about the evil that exists. I
So you
know
saying
of
that you embrace evil, the thing that you don't like, in order to bring light to whatever it is that you really want people to embrace?
I'm saying God has allowed me to learn much about history and today, and I know much of the evil that has been and is. But luckily, God has also allowed me to learn of the light, the hope. There are some amazing groups coming together today that are challenging the system within the system, that are raising against, creating different systems. There are many people coming together, uniting to try and solve some of the problems of the past. Anton, I encourage you to join that movement rather than trying to thrive in the crumbling, because this system is going to crumble. It is in the process of crumbling. We are watching the
Jack,
America that was known.
there's gonna be groups of us that prosper as a result of everything that's about to happen.
Yeah.
And you know what we call ourselves? Bag chasers.
It's Anton,
It's gonna be
and
winners and it's gonna be losers, Jack. I'm preparing my people to be the winners.
Anton.
I'm preparing my people to be the winners, Jack.
This us and them keeps divided. A house divided will crumble, and that's why
Mm.
America's crumbling right
We
now.
not
And you
divided.
know
Me
what?
and my people, we all on the same page. We all going in the same direction. We all of one mind, sound body understanding, and we are gearing up, and we're preparing to continue to capitalize off of everything that's happening within this society, Jack.
Anton, there is no separation from you and those who will lose. There's no
You don't think
separation.
so, huh, Jack?
Nope. An
Okay,
injury to
I take
one is
that
an
bet.
injury to all. I truly believe that as a labor
Nope.
guy
Nope.
and as
It's
a
always a separation. It's
human.
always a separation, Jack.
No,
Listen,
brother,
listen, listen.
that's
It's
an
gonna be
illusion.
winners and it's gonna be losers. Jack, you so busy riding in the middle. You are one of those people that are lukewarm. You stand in the middle, and God said that He don't like people that are lukewarm and fence riders. He spit them out of His mouth, Jack. And you are gonna have to pick a side.
Brother,
You got to pick a
I
side,
walk
Jack.
that I walk that narrow path of truth because in that narrow path of truth you are able to see the multiple perspectives. And I get accused of riding the fence. I get accused of many, many things, but I'm not wrong, brother. I am not wrong.
No, I'm not
Here,
wrong.
Anton, there is no separation. All of time brought us to today, and from today, all of the future will come. So that we are connected to the past and the future, and all of us
Gentleman
right now.
JT, watch this, Jack. Gentleman JT says, Jack, come on over to the bag chasers. Jack is what y'all don't understand is that Jack is already a bag chaser. Jack is a part of the bag chasers. Jack is a part of the bag chasers. Y'all don't
Hey,
understand that? Jack is already in the Patreon. Jack is a part of the bag chasers.
I want a life of abundance. And
So what we talking about then, Jack?
well, I'm explaining my long range goals, and the long range goals maybe have created resistance for the short
Jack, you
term.
on my side. You on my side.
Well, for now, but the long term goals is I'm on everyone's side because I want. That didn't sound good. For now, for now being we are joined at this time, it doesn't mean we're going to stay joined for the future. I mean, that's what happens in our lives. People come and go, things come
Jack, you
and go.
want a life of abundance, right?
I think it's going to happen. Yeah.
I am the light.
That's my plan. That's my plan.
I am the light for you, Jack.
Well, that's I've been wanting to talk to you
I'm right
and
here, Jack.
this was an opportunity. So,
I love you,
what
Jack.
I love you too, man. I actually I have a lot of admiration. You've got
Jack,
some
I have given
skills
you a
and
lot of
talent.
insight and information in the amount of time that we've been in contact. The marketing, to be able to market yourself more effectively, how it is that you need to pivot, and all of this other type of stuff. Jack, you take this information because you understand it is right.
Yes.
So what are we talking
I
about? Jack, you are a
it's an
capitalist. You know that, right?
I don't like identifying. I don't like labeling myself as too many things. Not anymore. Anton, I used to do that. I used to label myself as all sorts of crap. And people can call me whatever they want. What I am,
I call you my friend. You my guy. I love you, Jack.
amen. Amen. I do hey, I am looking for people who might have ideas and the willingness to help a guy like me with the live without fear mindset. I want
I'm
to
with
grow
you.
that
I'm with you, Jack.
because if this is the way I see it, I got into the studying life coaching and practicing self-development for myself. And I've had the heart of an activist for a long time. And that's why I want to just share knowledge, self-development, tips on meditation and health so people can feel better about themselves because if people feel better about themselves, they're going to go out and create a better world around them. And as more people go out and create a better world around them, man, we won't have to pay money to learn and live.
Jack, you're wrong. You can never be more wrong, Jack. But it's okay. I'm gonna give you the game. I'm gonna enlighten you. I'm gonna add value into your life, and I'm gonna show you just how blissful it is to embrace this capitalistic world.
Respect.
I
Maybe
love
that's the temptation I need in my journey to see how committed I am. So yeah, hey, let's see what we
it.
can do, man.
Oh,
Um,
oh
I
my
don't.
gosh, Jack, you live streaming tonight?
Today's what day is it? Today's Friday,
Friday.
right? I think
Yep.
I am. I may be doing it earlier than I have been,
What time
but
you live
I
streaming?
think if I do it again, it'll probably be about 3:30 West Coast, so
Pacific.
6:30.
Pacific.
Yeah,
3:30 Pacific. 6 o'clock Eastern.
6:30 Eastern. Yes, yes,
So I'm
sir.
not
That's fine.
recording
Oh
because I got
wait,
some.
you're
I'm Eastern.
but you're doing some. I don't remember your schedule. You do your show tonight
Mm-mm.
too?
I got a Fight Club. The Fight Club. That's a completely different channel. Um, that's good. That don't start till like 11:45 Eastern. So, but
Dude, I
outside
looked
of
at that.
that, but that's different though, Jack. I'm gonna just tell you, Fight Club is a whole nother animal. I don't know if listen. I know you think you've seen some things, but I'm telling you that that is the proving ground. That is the place where it is no mercy. There is no prisoners being taken over there. It's all a whole nother animal over there. That's a training ground for savages.
I checked it out last weekend, and that was an experience. Um, I don't. It certainly got my curiosity, and it was addictive. I couldn't walk away from it for a while. So it's pretty cool
Correct,
stuff.
Jack.
As for today, I don't know, Anton. I used to live the life of obedience.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I was a government worker, had a good government job, health benefits, putting away 20% or putting away 18%. I think is what I was doing for my future.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I thought I was doing right, and I was miserable.
You didn't do it right.
You're right. You're right. I didn't. You know what I did? I settled. I settled for a job that was that held me back. And so now, yep, Anton, until my goals of restructuring the economic system of the world, until that's successful, I guess I am a capitalist. And so I've got some ventures here that I'm interested in developing and growing.
And guess what?
There's
That's
some
gonna
business.
take these dollars in order to do that.
Yep. Well, dollars are necessary just to get resources. Dollars are just simply necessary to open doors and
Jack, we about to
create.
open up this whole e-commerce thing, and we about to run this check up. I don't know what you talking about. We about
I'm
to run
excited.
all of these American dollars up to the ceiling, Jack. You and me. And then I'm gonna get you a gold chain. I'm gonna buy you a $30,000 gold, 10 karat gold. It's gonna be all solid gold, Jack. Yes, I am. We about to run this
Yes.
e-commerce bag up, Jack. You and me. I'm gonna make you the biggest capitalist ever.
Let me know how I can help.
All right, bet.
I'm I'm here, man.
All right, Jack. I gotta get out of here.
Hey, respect. I'm gonna
Love you,
I'm gonna
bro.
bounce. Thank you. Much love. God bless, brother.
All
Peace.
right.